Las Vegas and other places are empty because my head was sulfur-acided on the coastlines of your shitty country. And you tried to erase that girl. They brought back an Indios, literally. So you didn't give a shit for the intel because you are the best, which you are not in the world. And that was why they were saying phenomena. But the problem with you is that that's empty. And so you don't like the J-Lo concept. You don't like give to Rome what's Roman. You're not Roman. I am. In other words, you smashed that leader's head on the coastlines when she was flying and running. And she was working elsewhere on the coastlines, not Fresno. Now, considering that the bridges in Washington, D.C. of July 20, 1976 are closed with the archives of the CIA, that's my birthday. So they are sticking to that. And they're sticking to other bridges in Rome and Cairo, Dar es Salaam neighborhoods in Moscow and Warsaw, some small internationals, I'll say. Small hostel, Square One, that was pink and a grey bridge showed up, and in London. In other words, they brought back a dead baby, and you hate her. She was famous for something that you dream of. It's not a question of space breaks and tech breaks and science breaks. It's a question that you had the intel and then you smashed it. And then you had pretenses for that shit taking its whole shit. Obviously, if you see a phenomenon born in Western Europe, in the UN and stupid times, you are going to play with it. Of course, I'm not that girl because you sulfur-acided her head. That's why she's back. Which means you don't understand what she came back for. She came back to tell you that that's empty. She came back to tell you that no PhDs will reopen it. She came back to tell you that we don't like the Mossad either. She came back to tell you all of that with Conectados Globals for herself. I'm 50 years old. That's old news on the news, and the nails is old news on the news. So what's your pretenses around the world? What's your pretenses? So this is what we call in intelligence true desperation, reality of the situation for her. Now, in Western Europe, they saw something that if she was going to have her head smashed on the coastlines with sulfur acid, that they were going to make Ubermensch out of her. Of course, they will not reopen the buildings because sulfur acid is a permanent death. You microscope that girl with hate, or what they call box theory girl, or whatever you want to call it. It's not a question only of course celebre around the capital cities, even in the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods for the girl. It's a question that you don't know how to control your bitches and assholes. That's why you have, in addition, for your extras, the Roman Tribunal. So, and they even have the Ukrainian here and there linked to you in Frisco, even if they are from Fresno, a federal prison in LA, on paper, and a federal tribunal in Rome, together with your psych wards and the whole shit. It's on paper in Western Europe. Now, considering there's a Scotland film to stay in Rome and stay out, my kind shouldn't have come to your country. You can keep your bitches. You can keep your horse, and you can keep your assholes. And you can keep your PhDs. 2-1 with hers, and the plan has around the capital cities with the Nobel Prizes. I'm moving out. We lost intel. The CIA lost intel. It's still paying for it. It's lost. What was lost, old news on the news. Sorry, darling. I know you don't like hearing it. I know it's an instant reaction. I know you don't know how to control your feelings of jealousy or envy for the parents. No? I realize that you're the best, but you're not. So baby is just for that. Why they call it baby, even if I'm not a baby, it's because they're comparing me to my original self before sulfur-acid mountain. Again, which is not good, in my opinion, because stress what intel of that kind does. So it's not a question that you lost. It's not a question that you lost that intel. Let me explain to you this. Watch this. The father and the mother are on retirements in Fresno. They're directorates, D1s of Austro, TCY, USA. They're not me, okay? They're born in pioneer camps beyond the capital city. So let me show it to you as a visual for 5-year-olds that many times on my crawlies, little crawlies, for Disneyland, okay? This is it. Now you're going to see how stupid you are and stop comparing yourself, because I am sick of you. Because Disneyland, the crown, the fucking capital cities, saw a dead baby, okay, on the ghost lines with sulfur acid. After all the flyings and runnings, okay, this is it. Watch. The runnings start there. 85, that's the running. And get to the top of the library there, okay? The flyings is beyond the library. 92 and above is beyond the library. That's 85 till there. And then there is this. Sulfur acid on the child on the ghost lines. And the parents still on retirements of Fresno's intelligence. In the middle of the desert of California with the fame of Fresno. Tom and Jerry Darrett house. His friends, his girlfriends, his wingmen, the nurses with 5X bras and the nursing homes and the hospital, the white ones, the Hispanic blonde ones. What do you want from my father and mother? Oh, you don't like me either? Oh, she dead on the coastline with the head, bitch ass. Why did Disneyland come back? US, 2-1 ass wipe. And she wasn't alone with those plumbers. And no, we don't like the Mossad either. Excuse me, you're not the country. This happened in your country, sulfur acid on the ghost lines. I was a leader of that shit. No one's going to reopen La Sapienza. No one's going to reopen that new shit. Not even in Massachusetts or NASA or NASA or anywhere on the planet. US, California's coastlines, I don't care whether East Coast or West Coast. As for the parents on retirements in Fresno, there's a score plan film to stay out of this country. And you only have 147 to 2-1 of geological rebirth for Disneyland, Indios, or whatever you want to call it, to stay out. As for the blues, of course they made negatives out of the girl. She was a phenomenal. In Western Europe, they don't belong to me or the original girl. They don't belong to the family. That's long ago the nails gone in the sands of time. You are not Intel. You're not Delph. You know Medivato like me. Literally 2-1. Stupid times. Excuse me. Disneyland. You wanted to have your fun. Indios, if you'd like scalp Indios. Nice PhDs. Beautiful limos. Excuse me. So much for hanging bitches, Laura Quintus and Ali Rick. They only accepted 92 and above. If you're going to reopen my buildings, you're welcome. I thought you were phenomena. Oh no, sorry, sulfur acid did it in. You tried to bury me alive and they brought me back like this around connected dots globals in 80 countries, 2-1. What about the father and mother in Fresno's retirements? Oh, you're the best, aren't you? Lady of the house, or should I say like Lorenzo, lady of the house. Which one would you prefer? Assholes. And the vitriol, the verbal vitriol that came out of Fresno's nurses and others. No. So crazy, you've lost. I am Indios Disney.